Be ready, because what I'm about to share may surprise you. In the next 3 days, silence will be your greatest shield, and breaking it could carry consequences that cannot be undone. Everything you've been told about speaking your truth, about voicing every thought and emotion, becomes dangerous in these closing days of August. The usual rules don't apply here. What once gave you strength will now weaken you, and what once offered protection will now leave you exposed. This is the part most people won't want to hear. These final days are not calling you to speak. They are calling you to remain still. Something hidden is unfolding beneath the surface, and only those who guard their silence will make it through unharmed. If you can resist the impulse to explain, to argue, or to confess, you'll witness what others will miss entirely. But if you can't, the cost will follow you long past the end of the month. If you truly understood what is taking place right now, you would know that silence is not a choice, it is a necessity. The last 3 days of August are unlike any other time of year. You can feel the shift in the air itself. It isn't just the change of season or the usual routines beginning again. There's something deeper, something almost indescribable. Even those who have no belief in spiritual matters will sense the pressure of these days. Restlessness lingers everywhere. People grow short-tempered, ready to snap. One careless word can ignite a chain of events that lingers for weeks, even months. That is all it takes, a single spark. Astrologically, these days are always heavy, clouded by miscommunication, emotional waves, and energies that twist words into sharp weapons. That is why silence is not only protection, it becomes your power. During this brief but critical window, the world will not play fair. It will provoke, push, and pull at you, waiting for a reaction. Conversations that should be harmless will suddenly feel like traps. Strangers may test your patience. Loved ones may press every button they know you have. Even the media will stir emotions as though designed to shake your center. None of it is accidental. Something deeper knows exactly how to tempt you into speaking when you should be still. Every word you utter now carries more weight than you realize. Once released, it cannot be taken back. That is the bait dangling before the chosen ones. You will feel the pull to defend yourself, to explain, to get something off your chest at last. But right now, those words would only tear apart what is being built in the quiet. The moment you give in and react, you hand away your power. And that is why this is the ultimate test. Picture yourself standing in the heart of chaos, with everyone demanding you respond. The true chosen one is not the one who fights back or argues. It is the one who stays still while the storm rages. The one who does not take the bait. Because silence is the key that carries you through this invisible threshold. And only on the other side will you see how much has changed. Here's the truth that might sting. Most of the people around you will not notice anything different in these final days of August. They'll wake up, sip their coffee, scroll through their phones, complain about traffic, and go on with life as usual. They won't sense the tension in the atmosphere. They won't feel the spiritual undercurrent tugging at every moment. And if you try to explain it, they'll laugh it off or try to convince you that you're imagining things. That is why silence is your protection. Because silence guards the sacred. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to prove your awareness. You don't need permission to trust what you already feel. That awareness is what separates those who are awake from those who remain asleep. And you, chosen one, are awake enough to know these days are not ordinary. Imagine being the only one who sees a storm forming far off on the horizon. While others bask in the sun and call you paranoid for shutting the windows and locking the doors, you quietly prepare. And when the storm finally arrives, you are the one who is safe. That is exactly what your silence is now, a form of sacred preparation they cannot understand. And here is the part you must hold on to. It is not your role to make them understand. It is not your duty to explain. Every word you spill trying to justify yourself will only weaken you and scatter your focus. Right now, your silence is not emptiness. It is strength. It is preparation. It is the hidden doorway that only the few will recognize, and only the few will walk through. Some people will twist your words, turning them into arguments, gossip, or confusion. That's why silence becomes your greatest shield. When you choose not to speak, no one can misuse your energy. Let them misunderstand you. Let them wonder why you are quiet, why you seem withdrawn, why you are no longer engaging in the noise. Your awareness is enough. Your perception is your proof. You don't need anyone else to validate what you already know deep within. The moment you recognize that their lack of understanding no longer matters, you'll also see that those who cannot feel the shift unfolding were never truly meant to walk beside you. These final days of August are not merely about avoiding conflict. They are about discovering who you can truly trust. And here lies the difficult truth. You cannot place your trust in the noise around you. The world is shifting faster than most people can comprehend. Old systems, outdated patterns, familiar sources of authority are all crumbling right before your eyes. Yet they cling desperately to your attention, feeding you half-truths, distractions, and fear in an attempt to keep you hooked. If you look outside yourself for guidance right now, you'll only find confusion. Politicians, media, co-workers, even family members will project their own fear, their own uncertainty, their own chaos onto you. Noise is not guidance. Silence is. In these 3 days, trusting yourself above everything else is the most important act you can take. Within you exists a compass that never lies. It may speak softly, but it always points in the right direction. Silence allows that inner voice to grow louder. The less you speak, the more you can hear. The less you react, the clearer your truth becomes. When the world is screaming 1,000 conflicting instructions, your silence becomes the steady signal that cuts through the static. This is not about isolating yourself out of fear. It is about remembering that your inner voice is the only authority that never collapses. Systems may rise and fall, people may enter and leave your life, but your inner truth remains unshaken. These last days of August are not about seeking external approval. They are about recognizing that the answers you've been searching for have always been within you, beneath the noise that others try to layer over your clarity. And yes, there will be moments of discomfort. Doubts will creep in, questioning whether silence and stillness are the right choices. But every time you trust yourself instead of reacting to the chaos, you strengthen something inside of you that can never be broken. That inner strength will carry you, not just through these days, but into what is yet to come. Silence is not emptiness. It is the bridge between the world that is ending and the truth that is beginning. The mistake many people make about transformation is believing that it always requires dramatic, life-altering moves, quitting a job, ending a relationship, moving to another place. But in these final days of August, the universe does not measure you by grand gestures. It measures you by the smallest, most intentional step you take. In this rare pocket of energy, even the tiniest action carries a resonance greater than you can imagine. Picture a still lake. One drop of water does not seem like much, yet in perfect stillness, that single drop creates ripples that reach every shore. These days are that still lake. The energy is delicate, sensitive, stretched thin, and amplified. That's why even the smallest act of alignment becomes powerful. It doesn't have to be complicated. Perhaps your step is finally saying no to something that has drained you for far too long. Perhaps it's giving yourself permission to rest while others remain trapped in chaos. Perhaps it's choosing silence when someone tries to provoke you, even though every part of you wants to react. Whatever that step may be, it becomes proof. Proof that you are listening, proof that you are aligned, proof that you are ready. Tiny actions in this kind of energy carry the weight of enormous signals. What matters is not the size of the step, but the intention and energy behind it. One conscious act of alignment tells the universe that you are not only aware of the shift, but that you are willing to move with it. It tells the unseen forces shaping these final days that you have chosen to walk with intention instead of drifting with the noise. And in that moment, something deep within you shifts permanently. Because the secret is this: once you take that one step, the doorway opens. What begins as a small and almost invisible choice has the power to shift everything. The moment you dare to take that first quiet step, the path ahead grows wider, your decisions become lighter, and the way forward feels clearer. In that stillness, the silence you've been holding on to begins to speak back to you in ways you may not expect. What feels so small at first becomes the very key that unlocks an entirely new chapter of your life. That's why you should never underestimate the power of a single action, however small it may seem. One quiet move in this moment can ripple through your destiny louder than years of endless noise. Silence is not just the absence of words. It's a force, a presence, a shift in power. When you choose not to react, not to engage, not to explain yourself, something begins to happen. Those who once relied on your responses, authority figures, family members, even partners, start to feel unsettled. Authority thrives on reaction. It feeds on explanations, apologies, defenses. But when you refuse to play into that script, everything changes. Your silence interrupts the pattern they rely on, and in that pause, the balance of power begins to shift. A boss might grow impatient. A parent may get agitated. A partner could feel confused. Yet all of this tension only proves one thing: that silence is rewriting the dynamics around you. In these final days of August, silence is more than just a way of protecting your peace. It becomes an act of quiet rebellion. It is resistance against the unconscious systems that have always tried to control your energy. Without uttering a word, you take back your power, and the longer you hold that silence, the more the world reveals its true face to you. These days are not calm, gentle waters. They are a storm, not the kind that roars in the sky with thunder, but the kind that presses against your chest, shakes your thoughts, and stirs your emotions. When the storm rages, most people will do what they always do. They'll vent, argue, complain, and release their discomfort through words. But this time, that's the very trap waiting for them. Not every storm is meant to be spoken through. Some storms can only be endured in silence. Think of these days as a spiritual initiation, a passage that asks only one question: can you remain still in silence while chaos spins all around you? The storm is not random. It's designed to test you. It will push buttons, stir drama, and bait you into breaking your silence. Messages will appear out of nowhere. Small misunderstandings will erupt into arguments, and situations will press against your patience until you feel the urge to snap. But this is where the test lies. Every careless word spoken now leaks your energy, while every moment of silence strengthens it. This is why so many fail. They break too soon. They give in, they explain, they defend themselves, and the doorway closes for them. But for those who hold steady, silence becomes a shield. It becomes the very thing that keeps their energy intact, redirecting what could have been lost outward into a deep reservoir within. Instead of weakening you, the storm fortifies you. Each moment you resist the urge to speak, your spirit grows stronger, your resilience multiplies, and you begin to see that the storm is not your enemy. It's shaping you. It's chiseling away the parts of you that once needed to explain or justify, leaving behind a version of you that is unshakable. Silence in chaos is not weakness, it is mastery. Every hour you refuse to give in, you grow. And when the storm finally passes, you'll realize it has carved you into someone who no longer bends under pressure. What remains is a spirit that cannot be moved by outside noise. These 3 days are not meant to break you. They are meant to crown you. They are an initiation into strength that words can never give. The heaviest chain you've carried through life has been the constant need to prove yourself, to explain why you chose differently, to justify why you walked away, to convince others of your truth. But this storm is your chance to drop that weight. If you can stand in the eye of the storm, surrounded by noise, pressure, and provocation, and yet remain silent, then nothing will ever have the same hold over you again. So trust the silence. Trust that it is carrying you even when the world demands your voice. For those who endure, these days will not end in defeat. They will mark the beginning of your sovereignty, your clarity, your strength. And when the storm passes, you will know that silence did not make you weaker. It crowned you with a power no words could ever give. There comes a moment when you realize how much of your life has been spent trying to explain yourself, trying to convince others of your truth, or arguing just to be heard. You pour out your heart, hoping that maybe this time someone will finally understand you, only to find your words twisted, dismissed, or misunderstood. And each time that happens, the sting makes you want to try again, to explain once more, as though the right words will finally unlock recognition. But the truth is, they were never meant to fully understand you, and that realization can be liberating. As these last days of August arrive, It feels as though a long cycle is breaking apart. Silence begins to show itself as the freedom you've been searching for all along. It is not weakness. It is not avoidance. It is the quiet strength of choosing not to waste your energy in battles that were never yours to win. Every time you hold your silence, you remind your soul that its truth isn't something that needs to be defended or debated. It simply is. Think of how much energy has been drained in arguments that never led anywhere. Picture moments when someone made a sharp remark, waiting for you to defend yourself, or when a family member questioned you with judgment hidden in their tone, expecting a fight, or when a coworker pointed blame, hoping to pull you into their storm. In the past, you may have stepped in, arguing to clear your name or to finally be seen clearly. But now you are being shown another way. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You don't need to correct their perception. You can stay silent, and in that silence you rise above. Silence says more than words ever could. It says, I don't need your approval. I already carry my own. It is dignity. It is sovereignty. It is the quiet knowing that not every battle deserves your voice and not every misunderstanding needs your correction. When you let others believe what they want, you no longer carry the burden of their judgments. You walk free, and your energy stays with you. These final 3 days of August offer a chance to practice this sacred detachment. Let others see whatever picture of you they want to hold. Let them have their story. You don't need to fight against it anymore. In choosing silence, you take back what was always yours. Your inner authority, your peace, your strength. And beyond silence, there is another truth waiting to be remembered: patience. One of the hardest lessons in life is that not everything happens the moment we want it to. You can set your intentions, speak your desires into the universe, take leaps of faith, and still be met with waiting. In those moments, it feels like a void, an emptiness where nothing moves. But that void is not empty at all. It is alive. It is working behind the scenes. Delay is not denial. It is divine timing, moving in ways you cannot yet see. These final days magnify that energy. The silence, the stillness, the waiting. It all carries purpose. Seeds are being planted deep beneath the surface. The choices you make now, the restraint you practice, the quiet faith you hold. All of it is shaping outcomes that will unfold in weeks and months ahead. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it isn't happening. Think of a farmer planting seeds in the soil. If he digs them up every day to check their progress, he ruins the process entirely. The soil needs stillness. The seed needs darkness. The roots need time. The growth happens where the eye cannot see, and only patience allows the harvest to come. The same is true for you. Your silence is the soil. Your patience is the water. Your faith is the light that nurtures what is yet to bloom. So if it feels quiet right now, if it feels like nothing is moving, don't mistake that stillness for emptiness. Trust it. Everything is rearranging beneath the surface, preparing to rise in its perfect season. The moment you stop rushing, life begins rushing to meet you. This is why silence and patience are not signs of passivity. They are acts of power. They are spiritual weapons. In silence, you protect your energy and reclaim your dignity. In patience, you align yourself with divine timing instead of forcing outcomes that aren't yet ready. Together, they shape a path forward that is steady, strong, and true. As August closes, carry this with you: the knowing that your silence was never weakness and your waiting was never wasted. Both were sacred acts of trust, proof that you already hold the strength to stand tall in who you are without needing the world to validate it. Silence is not surrender. It is the sound of your soul remembering its power. Patience is not weakness, it is your greatest shield. It holds you steady in the rhythm of divine timing, keeping you from crumbling under the weight of human deadlines and demands. Of course, this doesn't always feel comfortable. These days might stir up impatience inside you, tempting you to push for answers, to force conversations, to demand outcomes before they're ready. But have you ever stopped to wonder if the universe is withholding what you seek, not out of cruelty, but out of care? What if the delay is not a denial, but a shield protecting you, making sure the blessings you're calling in don't arrive too soon, before you've grown strong enough to carry them? Silence, then, is not emptiness. It is sacred space. It is the womb of destiny where everything is being woven together on your behalf. You may look around and see stillness, you may feel as if nothing is happening. But that is only the illusion. Beneath the surface, threads are intertwining, doors are shifting into place, people are being guided, and opportunities are making their way toward you. A living tapestry of energy born from this shared decision to listen inward instead of outward. This is how the collective shifts. Not through grand speeches or public displays, but through small, unseen acts of restraint, of patience, of trust. Awakening does not roar through microphones. It ripples softly through souls. That restlessness you've been feeling is not yours alone. Many others are sensing it too. The difference is that while some distract themselves with noise, arguments, or endless busyness, you are awake enough to recognize it for what it is. That awareness links you to every other soul who also knows that something is shifting. You may never see their faces, but energetically you stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Imagine it. 1,000 candles being lit across the globe. Not all at once, not in one place, but slowly, steadily, one by one. Each candle on its own may seem small, almost insignificant, but together they create a fire that pushes back the darkness. That is what is happening right now. Every single person who surrenders to silence in these final days of August is lighting a candle. And your candle, yes, even yours, no matter how small it may seem, joins that fire. Together, you are creating something that cannot be extinguished. Your silence itself is a signal. It tells the universe, I am awake, I am listening, I am ready. You are not walking this awakening in isolation, because awakening has never belonged to the individual alone. It moves like water, like fire, like wind. It spreads. And even if you don't realize it, someone else's courage to remain silent is strengthening yours, just as your silence is strengthening theirs. This is the quiet alliance of souls who are being called at this exact moment in time. So when the weight of these days feels heavy, remember this: others are carrying it too. They may be strangers, oceans away, people whose names you will never know. And yet, in this silence, you are walking in rhythm with them, step by step, flame by flame, in a movement that is far bigger than you can yet see. There's a quiet power at work, a hidden chorus that we all participate in without even speaking. Even without uttering a word, you're shifting something immense within the collective energy. You don't have to shout or make a scene to create change. Sometimes the deepest revolutions happen in silence, shared quietly among those who understand. This is the subtle magic of the last days of August. What may feel like a personal silence is, in truth, part of a much larger movement. Every person who chooses stillness contributes to a collective awakening that is gently reshaping the future, and you are right in the middle of it. Your silence matters more than you realize because it's not just yours, it belongs to all of us. Many people will never grasp the power of choosing silence. They might see it as easy, meaningless, or even strange. Yet the truth is that mastering silence is one of the hardest disciplines a human can achieve. Silence isn't simply the absence of sound. It's the conscious decision not to surrender your energy to distractions, arguments, or unnecessary conflicts. It's holding your ground when the world pressures you to react. Anyone can speak, but few can remain quiet. Silence is a sign of true mastery. If you've spent these final days of August in silence, you've accomplished something remarkable, something most people aren't capable of. You've resisted the pull of the ordinary, saying no to the chaos of the collective. This choice, though invisible to the outside world, is already shaping your September in ways you haven't yet imagined. This isn't about punishment, it's about a reset. The silence you've embraced has cleared the mental clutter, sharpened your intuition, and strengthened your willpower. Consider this. If you can hold your tongue when provoked, if you can remain calm while everything around you demands a reaction, what else might you be able to master? Self-control is the highest form of freedom. As you step into September, you do so lighter than before. You're no longer burdened by unnecessary arguments, regrets over words that were never meant, or the exhaustion of explaining yourself to those who were never ready to listen. Instead, you carry clarity, strength, and a discipline that will ripple into every area of your life. This discipline doesn't vanish when the silence ends. It stays with you, influencing your choices, your relationships, and your ambitions. September will feel different because you are different. Thank you for taking the time to be here. If you found this meaningful and want more content like this, please consider subscribing. Your support truly makes a difference. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Until next time, take care and stay connected for more insights.